Round one is in the books for the Kelowna Rockets, and it pretty much went as expected. And that's a good thing after what happened last year. The Rockets beat the Americans in 5 games, with Eric Comrie stealing Game 3 with a 52-save performance. While the scores were fairly close, the Rockets did average 41 shots per game in the series and showcased their depth by spreading the scoring around.
Our overall speed through the neutral zone was a big thing versus Tri-City, and they like to clog that neutral zone up pretty well, and didn't like our defensemen to skate the puck up. They knew that we like to create from our back end a little bit.
You never want to have too long of a series like last year. I mean, you can run you down early, so it's nice for us to just have a quicker series, but I mean, it was a battle.
Last year, the Seattle Thunderbirds gave the heavily favored Rockets a major scare, building up a 3-0 series lead before Kelowna stormed back to win in overtime of Game 7.
It's not like we took them lightly last year. I mean, 5 of the games went into overtime, so once again, I mean, it was all the little things that ended up making a big difference.
Can't do that this year, obviously. They got an even better team than they had last year.
That sets up this interesting series against a Seattle team that surprised a bit in the first round. The 4th-seeded T-Birds played the 5th-seeded Everett Silvertips, both teams finishing with 88 points on the year. It was expected to be a close series. The scores certainly were in the first 3 games. The games were tight and Everett did not play poorly, but Seattle beat the Tips in just 5 games in what can only be described as an unusual outcome in a 4-5 matchup. Like last year, the Rockets expect a hard-hitting, grueling series from Seattle, a team with some big bodies that was heavily penalized in the regular season.
They're going to chip pucks in and try to run our defense on the forecheck, and that's one thing. We just can't get frustrated with that stuff. And as long as we're breaking pucks so quickly and we're going back hard for pucks, we're going to beat them in the pucks.
They're a pretty hard-working team for sure, and they like to play the physical game, but they also got some skilled guys.
Those skilled guys include imports Robert Slipsbergs and Alexander Delnoff, and a couple of youngsters who did not play last year.
They've got Barzal, they've got Gropp, who they're both first-year guys, and they both had great seasons. They're guys that if you give them a little bit of time, they'll make you pay. The way we've tried to defend all year long is take away good players' time and space and make them kind of have to do things under pressure a little bit.
We got to be physical, and we got to make sure we're shutting down cycles and little bumps for our defensemen to getting pucks out easily and just making it easy on ourselves.
The T-Birds derived their offense from one particular fellow on the back end, Shea Theodore, a smooth-skating power play quarterback who led the league in scoring among defensemen with 79 points. Last year, the Rockets were able to contain the Anaheim first-rounder, who gets a lot of his assists on the power play.
He's no different than PK Subban or guys like that create from the back end. So for sure, you know, we would like to shut him down. Easier said than done sometimes, especially in the power play situations where he gets a lot of his points.
In goal, a familiar face to the Rockets, former Blazers netminder Taron Kozin. He may not be an Eric Comrie, but he was solid in the first round against Everett. Game 1 goes Thursday, Game 2 Saturday, both at Prospera Place.